Today's episode of True Reddit Stories is pure Reddit drama. It starts with me growing up with an old envelope of newspaper clippings about the baby abandoned in an alley and the right to say no to so-called blood family. Then comes the moment I laughed from shock at a baby who didn't resemble anyone and the lesson of facing the truth head-on. A 5-chili curry to debate how far adults should be responsible for the choices of someone else's kid. The feeling of being the odd one out in a twin-obsessed family and learning to build my own frame. A father who burned my college fund and later came back asking me for $300. And finally, a birthday cake hijacked to stage a proposal to herself. If you like stories that are frank, a little sardonic, with crisp punchlines and plenty to argue about, stick around to the end because each one leaves its own clean cut. Story 1. The baby abandoned in an alley. And the time. I said no to blood family. I grew up with my own story being told little by little like someone peeling back a bandage layer by layer. The day I was born, there was no crib, no arms, just a dark alley, a blanket thinner than a dish rag, and a season of cold winds. The person who found me called emergency services. The local paper ran a small blurb, "Newborn abandoned." I keep those clippings in an old envelope. When I look at them, I always see two things at once: pain and luck. Pain, because I was tossed like trash. Luck, because another family picked me up like treasure. My adoptive family never treated me as the other kid. I was the troublesome youngest, the one scolded for sneaking cake, the one hugged tight on graduation day. Those ordinary things saved me from bitterness. There was only one gap. I rarely thought about medical history. As a kid, who cares? As I got older, still didn't bother me. Until I got engaged and we started talking about children. My fiancé's family has some genetic issues. I knew nothing about my own. The answer unknown suddenly felt like a stone. So I signed up for genetic testing. I only wanted a dry list of high-low risk, absolutely no desire to open any old doors. But this time I did something stupid. I accidentally toggled the option that lets relatives find you. I didn't notice. When the medical results came in, I breathed a sigh of relief. But it was too late. 2 people messaged me right away. "We're your older siblings. They're older than me." My biological parents had 5 kids before I came along. They'd known about me for a long time. They said the whole family has always missed you. Our parents have regretted it for years. We're family. At first I was polite. I said plainly that my purpose was medical, not a reunion. I didn't want to hear our parents' story. The word parents in their mouths felt like a needle pricking my skin. They said at least hear them out so they can be at peace. I said I'm not a confessional. From there, the story changed color. They said our mother had been panicked, abused, afraid of being arrested if she took me to a hospital. They said there was too much fear, that the spot I was left wasn't random, that nothing is simple. I listened and could see only one truth that wouldn't change. It was still a baby lying in a dark alley with no one keeping him warm. In this world, there are fire stations, hospitals, churches, even places where you're allowed to leave a newborn safely. If regret existed, adults had so many choices except the choice to put a tiny body into the dark and run. I said no more clearly. I blocked them. They made new accounts. I blocked those too. They followed my friends, found my fiancé, and sent long paragraphs that began with, "You have to understand your mother." They repeated, "You're not just half our blood, you're our missing sibling." I kept wondering why people think the phrase blood ties is a master password. It doesn't unlock the memory of that old newspaper. It certainly doesn't lock the mouth of a fear that once belonged to a child without a warm coat. 3 months of that. I lost my patience. I lost sleep. I started hating to open my phone. I made an appointment with a therapist just to ask a question that felt stupid. If I don't want to listen, am I ungrateful, she asked. Back to whom I sat still. She continued, you don't owe anyone a confessional. You have the right to choose what you will endure in your life. That night I wrote one last email. Call it a boundary-setting letter sounds a bit theatrical, but it was the only wall I had left. I wrote, I don't want to re-establish contact and I don't want to hear your parents' story. I only need medical information. If possible, send it through my family doctor. Any other contact will be preserved as evidence of harassment. I understand you love your parents. I don't. I'm not a place to dump guilt. Do not contact me again. I took a breath and hit send. An hour later, a new account popped up this time, so gentle it was grating. Please at least don't call them your parents. It hurts to hear. I looked at that line and found it absurdly funny. So many adults are willing to let a baby endure pain, then spend the rest of their lives demanding other people change nouns to bandage their feelings. The next day, they messaged in a barrage, we don't just want to tell you things. Our parents want to apologize too. The word apologize arrived after they'd already burned every bridge. I replied with 4 words. Don't message again. Goodbye. Then I blocked more. They created a few throwaway accounts. I deleted social media altogether. I had never felt disappearance be this light. A week of quiet. Then one of the sisters sent a new email. Just hear Mom once. She was poor. She was scared she wasn't taught what to do. I don't deny that poverty drives people to despair. But poverty doesn't force anyone's hands to abandon a newborn in the dark. I almost hit send right away, then stopped. I printed that email, slipped it into the envelope with the old clippings. That stack of paper is 2 sides of the same coin, long-winded justification, and a cold headline. I took the folder to my therapist. She read, nodded, then asked if I wanted to write a paragraph for myself, something I would read on days when I softened at the word regret. I wrote, regret can't erase a cold night. Adults have choices. They chose me to pay the price. Now, I get to choose. I choose no. I know people will argue about forgiveness. Forgiveness is noble, liberating, and so on. The problem is, forgiveness isn't a mandatory assignment to pass the course called being a good person. Forgiveness is a personal right, not a formal outfit everyone must wear to look decent to outsiders. And more importantly, I am not refusing, because I want someone to hurt more. I am refusing because I don't want to go back to being the receptacle for stories adults tell themselves so they can sleep better. My fiancé asked if I had any regrets. I said if I regret anything, it's only that the baby back then didn't have a warm coat. As for the adults now, everyone has coats, phones, and words. They have enough tools to take responsibility. If they truly want to make amends, there are 1,000 ways to do the right thing without needing me as their audience donate to child welfare organizations, fund safe haven baby boxes, tell the truth to their other children. But don't ask someone who was abandoned to play priest for a late confessional. Sometimes I still open the old envelope of clippings, not to torture myself, but to remember that I lived. I lived because strangers cared for me, carried me, signed the papers to adopt me, drove me to practice, scolded me for bad grades, and hugged me on graduation day. I choose them as my family. I choose my future with the person I will have children with, kids who will be placed in a crib, not in the dark. If anyone wants to call me ungrateful, I won't argue. My gratitude is reserved for the right people. And to those who want me to listen so they can feel lighter, I've already said it. I don't care about your parents' story. I care about who I am, who I will be, and what stories my future children will grow up with. Those stories will not begin with a dark alley, and that is my choice. Story 2. The baby who didn't resemble anyone and facing the truth. Head on, I'm the youngest brother in the family, the type who cracks jokes to break tense air. The day my sister-in-law gave birth, both sides of the family were standing outside the waiting room, the atmosphere thick like a pot of soup reheated past boiling. I pushed the door open with my mouth moving faster than my brain. Ta-da, the coolest uncle has arrived. Then I saw the baby. Adorable. Healthy. And looking nothing like my brother or my sister-in-law. I froze for a few seconds, my brain crashed, and a laugh slipped out the reflex of an idiot who's too shocked. I apologized and backed out. After that, a DNA test confirmed what no one wanted to admit: the baby isn't biologically related to my brother. My sister-in-law said it was a drunken night, that protection was used, and she asked for a chance to make it right. I'm not a judge. I told my brother only this: whatever you decide, I'm with you. As for my sister-in-law, she started calling, texting, tagging me everywhere. You mocked a child. You're racist. I replied once, and only once I laughed, because I was shocked by the truth being exposed. I did not laugh at any child. Children are always innocent. Then adults take responsibility. The next family dinner was dead silent. My sister-in-law sat crying, and her mother talked about a rare genetic mutation. My brother set the test results on the table. No one had anything left to say. I apologized for the stupid laugh in the delivery room, but I will not apologize for looking the truth straight in the eye. Some things can't be propped up with an "it was just a mistake." You do it, you face it. As for the child, he needs love, honesty, and adults brave enough to stop bending reality. We chose divorce instead of the words "happy family" on the photos. And I relearned how to open my mouth before joking. Take a deep breath. Before laughing, think of the baby. Story 3. 5 chili curry. Am I supposed to be the warden of someone else's kid? My dad has a foreign business partner, and he brought his 13-year-old daughter over to visit. The plan was to have my younger sister show her around, but she shook her head. My English is too broken, so it fell to me. I took the girl to a museum. All good. That evening, we went to a family restaurant where the menu had a spice scale from 1 to 5. I chose 1 because I know the 5 where I'm from is no joke. The girl looked at me. "How spicy is it?" I said. "Trust me, don't go above 2. She picked 5. I repeated, "Don't." She smiled. "I can handle it." First bite in, she spat it out, eyes turning red. I immediately ordered coconut water, a trick my mom taught me, then asked to have the dish changed and added dessert to soothe things. I thought that was the end of it. Who knew her dad would hear her version and call me, "You're the adult, you should have stopped it." I wondered, stop it. How snatch the spoon, tie her to the chair, strip someone else's child of the right to order. The restaurant manager was very polite. We advised the guest still chose. I paid in full, apologized for the bad experience, but I did not accept the warden label. A little later, I saw the girl post a spicy challenge clip online. She deleted it quickly, but it was enough to see the story had already been skewed. I messaged her privately. It's fine to be curious, but adults aren't there to yank your handbrake every minute. We warn. The choice and the consequences are yours. That night I remembered being 18 and dumb myself, ordering 3 chilies to impress a girl. I cried too. No one could save my tongue. What saved me was the lesson. If you're curious, pay a small price so you don't pay a big one. And if you're not sure, start with number 1. Story 4. The Odd One. Out in a twin-obsessed family. My family has 2 pairs of fraternal twins who look astonishingly alike, Max Amy, then Jace Lacey. Everything at home revolved around the twin miracle matching outfits, matching photos, mom's double trouble page, and relatives who never stopped gushing. 6 years later, I showed up a kid who didn't match with anyone. From then on, I became the default photographer. My birthday was a small cake squeezed between themed shoots for the two pairs. My report card got a lone good job text swallowed up by the fireworks reserved for the 2 stars. When graduation came, everyone's schedule skipped me. Your older siblings are busy with school and work. Let's just not. I asked, why did they get a whole cheering squad while I get nothing? Grandma said, don't be jealous, be strong, you're a boy. I said, being strong doesn't mean being invisible. They told me I was manipulating emotions. Fine. I texted my class advisor. Could you help take a few photos for me? She came, gave me a picture frame, and stood in the family row. My friends clapped loud enough to drown out the empty space. That night, I hosted a small celebration of my own close friends, teachers, and the neighbor who keeps a spare key when the house is empty. The photos were beautiful. The laughter was real. When I got home, Mom texted, sorry I was busy with the twins, please understand. I replied, I understand. And I also understand this family isn't a title you're born into. Family is the people who show up at the right time. From that day on, I stopped trying to squeeze into someone else's frame. I built my own. Not a pair, but complete. Story 5. Dad spent my college fund. Then asked me for $300, my dad cheated, started another family, and burned through the college fund my mom had saved for me since the day I was born. We found out when the school sent an email saying tuition unpaid, even though the savings account should have covered it. After the divorce, Dad never apologized directly. In the years after, we interacted like 2 distant neighbors who occasionally say hello out of courtesy. Last year, I was unemployed for a while, and Dad transferred me $300. Last week, Dad called your stepmom, says it was $800, pay it back. It's been over a year. You need to learn responsibility. I dug through the messages. I had a receipt for $300. I sent a screenshot. Dad saw it. I stared at the screen and laughed the kind of laugh of someone who just remembered they once had an entire future stolen clean. I put together a small Excel sheet initial fund, plus market interest, plus scholarship opportunities lost, because I had to work part-time, plus the cost of delaying graduation. The final figure made me go quiet for a while. I sent that file to Dad. When you repay this amount, or at minimum acknowledge it exists, I'll transfer back the $300 within 24 hours. My paternal relatives jumped into the group chat. Let bygones be bygones. Children shouldn't be disrespectful. I left the group. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just setting financial boundaries. No borrowing, no sending, no accepting, no arguing. I've learned there are debts that don't sit in a bank, but the interest still accrues day by day, interest on loss, interest on trust. And sometimes the best repayment is to return things to their place. Each person carries what they've done. As for me, I'm paying myself a bigger amount piece. Story 6. A birthday cake that read, "Will you marry me?" Sarah. I walked out for my 28th birthday. My girlfriend Sarah took charge of organizing something special. I'm the simple type, but I figured I'd let her have her fun. Nice restaurant friends from both sides, even her parents showed up. When dessert came, the server pushed out a big cake, the icing carefully piped, "Will you marry me, Sarah?" The whole room applauded. Cameras were already set up. Sarah turned to me, eyes wet, voice trembling. Surprised, I sat still and my heart started pounding in a very different way, the kind where you realize you've just been dragged into a play you never consented to. I stood up. Today is my birthday. If you want to propose, talk to me first. If you want pretty footage, sorry, I'm not a prop. I nodded to the table and walked out. My phone exploded. You're heartless. You humiliated her. What's wrong with a woman taking initiative? I replied once and only once. Initiative doesn't mean crossing boundaries. Love isn't a viral campaign. The next day, Sarah posted a story time video her boyfriend walked out mid-birthday party after she proposed for fun. The comments were split, and the restaurant quietly confirmed she was the one who ordered the cake and specified the text on it. I brought back the keys and the few things I still had at her place. No arguing, no drama. Good luck with your channel. I'm choosing a relationship where the two people talk before hitting record. Back home, I blew out a small cake I'd bought myself with the right name and the right occasion. No fireworks, no views. Just this feeling my birthday was mine again. What would you do if your older siblings showed up and demanded you forgive so they can feel lighter? When you laugh out of shock at a stark truth, do you apologize, and to whom? With a 13-year-old insisting on 5 chilies, where is the line between respecting a choice and protecting them? If the whole family worships the twins and forgets you, would you choose a family of your own? Choosing. A father who burned your future and then asks you for $300. Do you pay with money or with boundaries? And a birthday cake with the proposal written to the wrong person. Do you stay for a pretty picture or leave to keep yourself intact? Tell me in the comments. If you think these true Reddit stories are worth reflecting on, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. So next time we can keep laughing, debating, and learning how to set boundaries in the right places.